I left my heart in San Francisco. We're going here, San Jose and Fresno. We'll have a talk with Pete Stemkowski. I'll say hello to Alyn McCauley. So take a look. It's the Golden Gate Bridge. It's all coming up on Maple Leaf America. Thank you. That's right. Welcome back to Maple Leaf America from the San Francisco Bay Area. Don't forget during the show to see if you spot the Team Fear Your Patch. It'll pop up somewhere. All right. You might recognize this guy, Alyn McCauley. Doesn't seem so long ago. He was wearing the blue and white. How's it going?
Pretty well. We've had a tough little stretch the past 3 or 4 games where we let some teams in, but besides that, we've found ways to win, and I think everyone's having a good time, and we're in the playoff spot as we speak, but we need to be in one in about 63 games.
Soon enough, it'll be a year, I guess, coming up. You'll be here. Lifestyle-wise, off-ice differences and getting used to it?
Very much so. Came here in the summer and found a house. That made the transition a lot easier. Brought my family here at the start of September. Moved in, got a membership at a swim club, which my daughter's thoroughly enjoyed, as well as my wife. And the transition's been pretty smooth. The guys in the room made it very easy, made me feel very comfortable right away. And that's probably the most important thing, is feeling at home here in the dressing room and on the ice.
How much do you know about your radio color man, Pete Stemkowski, Stemmer? Playing-wise, you know anything about it?
I don't know a whole lot about him, other than I know that he played for the Leafs, and apparently there was a goal that was scored that was very important that went off him and somebody else got credit for.
Right, Jimmy Pappin, a cup winner, in fact, in 1967. Stemmer played 15 years. Yeah, he's reminded a few people of that, I guess?
Well, actually, I haven't heard it through him. It was through a different source, one of his cohorts up in the media box. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, you're going to hear that story and a lot more from Pete Stemkowski right now.
Eddie Shack to Stemkowski. There's his shot. Stemkowski!
It's hard not to like Stemmer, a Stanley Cup winner in Toronto, a fluent expert radio commentator in San Jose, and at one time a big-time international Polish-Canadian-American celebrity.
A name like Stemkowski, I've heard my share of Polish jokes, but I know the funniest one. So when Miller asked me to do a light beer commercial, I said I drink light because it's got 1/3 less calories than your regular beer, it's less filling, and it tastes great. But I'll only do it if I can do this joke. So here goes. Dlaczego Amerykaninowy zabrakło lodu? Ponieważ zgubił przepis.
He actually made some reference to Americans forgetting the recipe for ice cubes. He was turning the tables at a time when Polish jokes were very popular. No one's laughing at Stemmer now, except of course when he's sharing anecdotes about hockey, like playing in New York for the Rangers.
One of the reasons I have some of my best years in New York was that I used to drive in from Long Island into Madison Square Garden. It was about an hour. And the traffic was crazy, and I don't know if I'm like a typical guy. I mean, I'm honking my horn and I'm in and out. I have no patience in traffic, and I used to be so upset when I used to get to the Garden, because I drove, that I was looking at my penalty minutes the first couple of years that I was in New York. I was getting like 97 minutes. And people saying, well, you know, you got penalty minutes in Toronto, but they really elevated since you got to New York. And to this day, I always blame the traffic. It was the traffic in Midtown and through driving from Long Island, where I was so upset, and so I had to take it out on somebody. So when I got on the ice, I, take it out on somebody else.
His most celebrated goal came in New York, a triple overtime game winner in the playoffs in '72. 5 years earlier, he may have scored an even bigger goal, the cup winner for Toronto, credited to Jim Pappin.
I remember carrying the puck over the blue line, and I went on my off wing because I saw Peter Stemkowski go into the net, because Peter was a big fella. You know, he's 215 pounds, and he always went to the front of the net. I knew he was going there, so I just took a wild backhand, actually a pass. I was trying to get it to Peter so he could tip it in or something, and Terry Harper had taken him out, and the puck hit Terry Harper's skate. Peter, to this day, says it hit his skate, but anyway, it hit Terry Harper's skate and ended up going past Worsley to give us a 2-0 lead.
that's a very interesting situation because he was about 40 feet from the play and I was like right there. So I mean, like, and there weren't the replays that they have today. So I mean, who was closer? Who was closer? I was closer. And I remember he came up to me and says, "Did it really touch you?" And I said, "Well, I may have felt something." And I think he had a bonus or something, and he ended up putting a swimming pool in his backyard with that bonus. And he actually invited me over for a swim one day. What a guy, right? So, yeah, well, listen, let him take credit for it. Let's put it this way. He shot the puck from the corner of the rink. It hit something and went into the net. And I don't think Terry Harper even remembers that particular play. So we'll give it to Jimmy.
By the way, in super slow-mo, it looks like it hit Stemmer. In March of 1968, Stemmer was shipped to Detroit in a huge trade with Frank Mahovlich, Gary Unger, and the rights to Carl Brewer for Norm Allman, Paul Henderson, Floyd Smith, and Doug Barry. He was a Red Wing for 170 games.
Somehow Ned Harkness didn't like me. I don't know why. I mean, I was a single guy. I wasn't as free-spirited as Gary Unger. I mean, Gary Unger had blonde hair. Gary Unger rode a motorcycle. Gary Unger drove a Corvette, and Gary Unger was dating Miss America. And here I was, Pete Stemkowski. I'm driving a Dodge. My hair is not nearly as long. I dress semi-conservatively, but for some reason Ned Harkness didn't like me.
In October of 1970, he was sent to the Rangers.
In all the years I've been in this game, I could count on less than one hand how many people I really never got along with or didn't like. But the guy who has to go on the top five as most respected would be Emil Francis. He was just an outstanding man. He was a great general manager. He was a great coach. And unfortunately, we ran into some guy, what the heck's his name again? Bobby Orr. That's the guy. Ran into him back in the early 70s, and they beat us. And we went to the finals against the Boston Bruins that year, and we ended up losing the Stanley Cup in Madison Square Garden. And I know how badly he felt about that. So if there's one regret that I have in the time that I've been in this game is that we never won a cup for Emil Francis. That would have just really topped it off. It really would have.
Of course, that dream only became reality once for Stemkowski, 37 years ago in Toronto, after his second full NHL season.
The parade we had in Toronto, the party we had at Stafford Smythe's house, I mean, there's policemen over there. And the thing I remember about that party, I brought a lovely young lady. I was single at the time. I always remember her name was Ruth Hoffman. She was a German girl that one of the unnamed Toronto Maple Leaf guys had lined me up with. I mean, here I was a single guy living in Toronto, and I didn't have a girlfriend. And I'm playing for the Toronto Maple Leafs. So I brought this beautiful girl. To me, she looked like a very young Gina Lollobrigida, and the guys were kind of, what should I say, embracing her and congratulating her on being with a guy who was a member of the Stanley Cup, yet they were a member of the Stanley Cup. So, but I think the thing that I remember most about that was that Tim Horton was walking. They had an indoor pool, and Tim Horton was walking by the pool, and Shaq pushed him in, clothes on and everything. And then Horton went crazy, started chasing Shaq around, and we tried to separate them, things like that. How about those Maple Leafs, huh? Is that fight Ty Domi tonight?
So while his heart may be in Canada and his home on Long Island, his full-time gig is in the Bay Area.
It's always good to pump up a couple of guys in there who haven't played the night before. They're going to provide you with some energy and some fresh legs.
Stemmer, what can you say? He's entertainment encompassed in a large Polish body. His longtime play-by-play partner on the radio, Dan Rusanowski, the original and only voice of the San Jose Sharks.
Hi, Rob.
That's good stuff.
It is good stuff, and Stemmer's a piece of work.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the guy who told me that he told Punch Imlach, don't trade me or I'm going to put a curse on the team. And they traded him in 1968, and the Maple Leafs haven't won the Stanley Cup since.
Well, I'll tell you what, we've got a lot of choices in terms of our travel log, which we're going to have when we come back, but we have a special selection for this week's travel log. After this timeout, we're also going to search for a golden seal. Remember the golden seals?
Ooh,
yeah.
White skates, Walt McKechnie.
Yes.
You got to put that together.
We're going to try to find the elusive golden seal.
Morris Mott, Hilliard Graves, Gary Cobra Simmons, he lives here.
He's gone. So he's gone. It's tough to find him. But we will find one, we promise. We'll have all that when we come back right after this on Maple Leaf America. Thank you, Dan.
Thanks.
Hi, I'm Brian Jackson. I'm from Niagara Falls, Ontario. Favorite Leaf of all time's got to be Dave Keon. I grew up on him. But I got to root for Nolan now. He's coming from here. Light him up there in Leafville. I'd like to say hi to my family. They're in Niagara Falls, New York now. Dorothy, my two sisters, Merry Christmas. I'll see you soon. Go Leafs.
Welcome back to Maple Leaf America. Very much enjoying our trip here to the Bay Area. So much to see. Alcatraz, the famous prison right here over my left shoulder, Fisherman's Wharf, the Pacific Ocean, on and on and on. And with so many choices, this week for our travelogue, it was tough, but we decided to go with the PEZ Museum. That's right, PEZ.
Everything anyone would ever want to know or see about PEZ is available at the Burlingame Museum of PEZ Memorabilia.
Most people don't know that PEZ were invented in Austria. They're not an American company. People don't know that the word PEZ is the abbreviation for peppermint in German. Peppermint was the first candy flavor. And most people don't realize that the PEZ dispenser, when it first came out, looked like a little lighter. The product was really designed for adults, not for kids. And after 8 years of really poor sales, they put the Mickey Mouse and Popeye on top, and that did it.
For thousands of collectors, PEZ equals FUN.
Now, this is one of the very first PEZ dispensers. You notice it has no cartoon head. They were just designed to look like little cigarette lighters. But they're a full working PEZ dispenser, work just like one with the head, but just kind of dull. But they do fit nice in your pocket.
The museum features every dispenser ever made, including a variation of the model that fetched the most money ever. A purple space gun which could shoot out PEZ, sold for $6 grand.
Right now, the new Looney Tunes PEZ are very popular. Simpsons are always popular, but probably the number one PEZ we sell all the time year-round is Tweety from the Looney Tunes series.
Hey, aren't we forgetting something or someone like Gretzky or Howe?
PEZ makes a buck, but you have to order it directly from the company. They don't sell it in stores. So this is an official, real PEZ dispenser of a hockey puck, but you can only buy it directly from them.
And you've built a couple of hockey PEZs yourself.
Right. We make what's called fantasy PEZ. So we take existing PEZ dispensers and license little helmets and put them together and make fantasy hockey teams.
Hi, Mr. Domi. Have you been a good boy this year?
This is number one of 3 known of an actual machine that sold PEZ supposedly for the front of grocery stores. So at the time in 1966, you put your quarter in, pulled the crank, and a PEZ would come out in a little box. But these were never released in stores. And some fella in New Jersey had this in his garage for 40 years, and 2 years ago called me and says, "Do you want it? I'll send it to you." Okay. It was like that.
No more injuries, boys. We can't see any more of you Leafs. You'll never win a Stanley Cup if you're out of the lineup.
Last year, the museum got what we consider the world's largest PEZ collectible. This is the actual neon sign that was on the PEZ building in downtown Austria, Vienna, Austria, for over 50 years. And last year, they sold the building, and the gentleman in charge of taking the building apart put the sign on eBay, and I was the only bidder, and now it's in Burlingame, California.
We're not going to win the Cup, eh? No, they're going to win it. They're going to win it. We'll be right back. Going crazy here. We're going searching for a seal, a golden seal. And we're also going to Fresno. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Alyssa Schwartz, originally from Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. I'd like to say hi to all my friends in Niagara Falls, and Toronto, and Mississauga. My favorite Leaf of all time is Wendell Clark.
Hi, I'm Lisa from San Jose. Hope you're enjoying the show. Have you seen the patch yet? You missed it. Catch you at the end of the show. We'll be right back.
Back in the Bay Area on Maple Leaf America, searching for seals. That's right, we're looking for members of that illustrious organization, Oakland Seals, California Golden Seals. We need to find a seal. We figured we'd start here at the Cow Palace, where it all got underway in the late 60s. One of the original expansion teams, the Oakland Seals, in 67, 68. And, well, there's gotta be one of these guys around here somewhere. Hey.
ID, please.
I don't have ID.
You have no ID. What company do you work for?
Toronto Maple Leafs.
What with him?
Same thing. We're just getting a shot of the building.
You need to see ID.
TV.
It doesn't matter.
He let us in. We didn't see any seals. We didn't see any signs of hockey. We left.
Hey, you haven't seen Gary the Cobra Simmons or Ted McAneely, have you?
I sure haven't.
No? What are you guys doing?
I don't know who they are.
You don't know who they are?
Hockey, eh?
Yeah, golden seals.
Yep. I knew that.
Hey, Dave, I got an idea. Let's go to Len Shapiro's house. Len Shapiro's got to know where one of these guys is. Here he is.
Hey, hi,
Len
Rob.
Shapiro.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good to see you.
Where are we? Pleasant
Hill, California.
Pleasant Hill, California.
Just over the hill from where the Oakland Seals play.
Len Shapiro was the
Public Relations Director of the Seals the last 2.5 years they were in Oakland.
beautiful. And if Len can't find us a seal, nobody can. But before we do that, we need to talk about the seals a little bit and maybe a few things you want to show us.
Definitely have a few things that I can enlighten you with and help us in the search for that lost seal. Over here, the 73-74 team, that only won 13 games all season. It was, I think, the futility of the NHL for a long time until the Washington Capitals came along. Well, they had 9 great seasons in Oakland. They started in 67-68. They lasted the 75-76 season, and then they shuffled off to Cleveland to be the mistake on the lake and die. Believe it or not, during the whole Seals time here in the Bay Area, in the last 4 years, only one game was televised, and Channel 44 did that game against the Philadelphia Flyers. We lost that game 5-1. It never really got started, Rob. They gave it to the wrong owner. Barry Van Gerbig was the first owner. They should have given it to Bing Crosby and Mel Swig, who were here in the area. It never really got off the ground. Here we have some of the pennants from the Seals. Again, when we couldn't get our name straight, we had the Oakland Seals, followed by Charlie Finley's Bay Area Seals, which he quickly changed to the California Golden Seals. Then we ended with the California Golden Seals in 74-75, and this was the final pennant, just calling ourselves the Seals in the 75-76 season.
Sadly, probably the Seals' game most remembered in Oakland involved a brawl with the Broad Street Bully Flyers.
It was a total brawl. Everybody was there. Hound Dog Kelly, we had nobody that could fight there. We had guys like Ted McAneely, 5'9", 150 pounds soaking wet. It was a sad scene. Here's Marshall Johnson, defenseman for the Seals, went on to help the New Jersey Devils and the Ottawa Senators.
Oh, yeah.
So he's done.
No, he's not around.
He's not around.
We're searching for a seal.
Marshall. We have Morris Mott. He's a professor up, I believe, at the University of Alberta, something like that. And they used to toast him with apple juice at Madison Square Garden. He's not around. Gilles not around. I know that. Gilles Meloche, the goaltender for the Seals, he's working for the Pittsburgh Penguins. So I don't think we'll find him. Ted Hampson, I think we're going to find him. He's working for the St. Louis Blues, so I don't think he'll be in the area. Then we've got, let's see here, we have, hold it. We got, Doug Roberts won't be around, and late Freddie Glover, great coach for the Seals. Did a great job for us. Great American Hockey League.
Didn't like the white skates.
Didn't like the white skates. Yeah, this was the California Golden Seals. Oh, but hold it. I think maybe we got a live one here.
Ernie Hickey.
Ernie Hickey. I think he's around. We might find him up in Vacaville.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's go. Vacaville Skating Club. Ernie Hickey, the legend. Hi, Ernie Hickey.
Ben, how are you doing?
Rob
Brought
Simpson.
some guys for it. Rob, how are you?
How are you?
Nice to meet you.
Good to see you. Leafs TV.
Yeah?
We're searching for a seal. We just found one.
Oh, you are?
There he is. We found a seal.
I'm the guy to find the lost seal. Oh, really?
Yeah.
You're the only one
You're
left.
the only one here.
Gary moved to Lake Havasu. You're it, baby. You're it.
Hickey now runs the hockey program at Vacaville. Probably his most pleasant NHL memory was a chance to play with his brother, Bill, for a season.
I can remember times, and Len can probably tell you that I probably had 35, 40 tickets that I couldn't even give away. I mean, the players didn't know anybody. I knew a few people, but you know, it was tough to get people in the building, but it was great.
There it is. We found a seal. Ernie Hickey. Thanks, Len.
All right. Okay.
Great job.
Thank you.
This was the home for most of the Seals' existence, the Oakland Arena. It's been refurbished, cleaned up a little bit over the years, still the home to the NBA's Golden State Warriors. You know, long before the Seals got here and long after they left, a team's been going in this region called the Fresno Falcons, about 2.5 hours that way. They were senior men's, semi-pro, now professional, and they're doing very, very well right now. The last 2 years on this show, we've kind of taken you around North American minor leagues, introduced you to some of the kids and some of the teams. We do that again here today by looking at one of the West Coast members of the East Coast Hockey League.
Had the ECHL absorbed the West Coast Hockey League 5 years ago, there's a pretty good chance the Fresno Falcons would not have been invited along. The old Fighting Falcons were playing to a lot of empty seats at the old Selland Arena. A change of ownership about that time brought new life.
I don't think there's a key beyond hard work. I mean, I think that we just got into the market and we started doing our research and find out what people wanted. and we started giving it to them. I mean, I think we had a good coach, so we were going to have a good product on the ice, but we improved the product off the ice and just improved our customer service, and fans responded to that.
Fans have responded to this year's new league as well. Along with 5 other teams from the WCHL, San Diego, Idaho, Alaska, Long Beach, and Las Vegas, Fresno joined the now 31-team ECHL.
Our fans, I think, were pretty excited about getting to see some hockey from the East come out here to the West and get a chance to see some new players, new faces, and probably, you know, even a little bit different style of hockey.
The new alignment makes the ECHL the only true AA hockey league in North America. Players jump to the American League daily, and more former ECHL names are being spotted on NHL rosters. These qualities are not lost on the talent.
We went to more teams, and I think the quality of hockey is better. And, you know, I think the league has an opportunity to grow, so I kind of wanted to be in and around that.
The biggest challenges of joining this new National League confront the coaching staff. 2 years ago, the Falcons won the Taylor Cup in an 8-team league.
You drop a good 25% of your salary, you're used to having a good core of guys that you know you can rely on every year, that negotiations are going to be very minimal and minor and pain-free, and then you get to concentrate on maybe 10 other guys. Now all of a sudden that went from 4 to 5 to 15 guys you got to chase, and you're chasing the top young guys, which you need to do. Now all of a sudden you throw 30 other teams in that race. Well, it makes it pretty difficult.
Moore is no longer recruiting to the quote-unquote Western Cocktail Holiday League. The ECHL is a different animal, younger, hungrier, and bigger.
I got traded out here just before their home opener. So their home opener, they had 14,000 people here, and it was pretty crazy. I mean, it was pretty close to the biggest crowd I've played in front of. It's a smaller town. I mean, I'm coming from Toronto, where I spend my summers. It's a little step down for, you know, slower pace, but people have been super friendly. I mean, the fans are receptive, and it's been not too bad.
I think that, you know, it's going to take about a year or two to kind of get more people to come out from this side of town to the games and market it and reach all the areas that we need to. Fresno's a pretty big area.
And its hockey team has come a mighty long way. From senior men's domination that started a half-century ago to near extinction to this.
Back to wrap in San Francisco, above the Embarcadero, the Bay Bridge, all that good stuff. Hey, did you see the patch during the show, the Team Fury patch? It showed up at the PEZ Museum. That's right. It was mixed in with the PEZ at the Museum of PEZ. As you can see, Dave got a shot there, the patch and the PEZs. Hey, next week, great show from Detroit. You'll want to join us. Or as the illustrious governor of this ridiculous state once said, I'll be back.